Have you ever thought about having only one chance to complete a quest, a task, something that you needed to complete? Well, I had this feeling not so long ago from school mostly. I actually managed to complete these tasks while having every time a positive or negative side. Of course, it stands for itself that I wanted to have more positive achievements than negative ones. While I was browsing through the internet, like as usual I do every day, I stumbled across a game that gave me the opportunity to have this feeling again. But something was different. I had fear. Fear even to start. But I will get to that in a while. Oneshot is an RPG Maker game created by my friend Nightmagin. This game was made in only a whole month and was intended for a contest, but got disqualified due to having modifications that weren't allowed to be used. The main character is named Nico, who awakes one day in an unusual house in a world which we don't know the name of. If the world is actually named by something, I couldn't figure it out. First, he had no idea where he is, after finding a light bulb, which is actually supposed to represent the sun of this world. His quest is to go to the center of the world and put the sun back where it belongs. As we know from the first robot, I think it's a robot. Nico is the savior of this world. While this may sound like your average "you have to save the world" story, this game does it in a very specific way that will keep you feared. Oneshot is called Oneshot for a reason. You only have one shot to complete the game. Once you play to the end, you can't open the game again. Forever. If you close the game without going to a bed, which represents the checkpoints of this game by the way, you will kill Nico and get locked out of the game, making it unable to open again. Forever. For that reason it makes it a very dangerous but unique experience. Because of this, I actually took whole 30 minutes to consider if I even should play it. I'm not kidding, by the way, I was really feared. I was so scared that the game would close itself, maybe even crash, maybe my PC will do something that closes the game and whatsoever. At first I didn't even want it to touch it, but my curiosity was killing me with 1,000 cats. 2 seconds later I downloaded it and made a restore point on my PC for the sake of safety in case it actually did crash. I knew when I was unzipping the folder there was no turning back. It was either now or never. As I loaded the game, I was so scared more than ever. I couldn't turn back now, because if I would close the game, it would be game over permanently. And then it started. Nico opened her eyes. As I was in the first room, there wasn't much to see. I picked up a TV remote to receive a code that I needed to access a PC that quickly explains the rules to you. After the "and most importantly" line, the game broke the fourth wall and created a pop-up saying you only have one shot, Lenny. It didn't took me long to check that Oneshot used my PC name, but that actually managed to get me off guard for a second. After that is done, you are locked in. There is no turning back now. If you close the game, Nico will die. But that was not enough, as I was now thrown into the overworld. The overworld looks beautiful and it's possible later to fast travel to certain areas you have already visited. This makes it very handy for some situations since the overworld is very big. Everyone in this world is lovely designed and some even remind me of Cave Story. The people do get a lot of character development over time. At first you don't know anything about Nico, but as you proceed I actually cared about this little guy and couldn't let him suffer in this world. While you speak to certain NPCs, you learn a bit more of this world and how it came to the current state it is in. In this area, you first had to look for some items and combine them to fix your robot. As I was looking for the things I need, yet again, Oneshot broke the fourth wall where I found the safe. Someone said that I should look around my computer for a code. By computer, it means the documents folder on my PC. And that is some fourth wall breaking, ladies and gentlemen, I have never seen before. Inside the documents folder there was a letter named Information Oneshot, which said the following. Dear, this is my final letter to you, and I'm afraid I must take it brief. I have left you my journal written in a language that read it and you will know everything. I have also left you a mask in case the toxic fumes ever spread. Look for a large safe in a quarry to the east. Stay safe. Do not look for me. During my whole playthrough, I got the chills as I proceeded more and more, but I also felt more safe the more I was going close to the end of this game. However, I felt like I was being pushed and had to boot up the game in an instant when I have let Nico sleep. I have let Nico sleep in 2 beds, and with each time you boot it up again, Nico tells you about his world, his parents, even his favorite food, pancakes, and so on. The artwork for these streams are absolutely amazing, and that can also be said for game's presentation. The visuals in Oneshot are visually pleasing to look at. The graphics remind me of, again, a lot of the visuals you would see in Cave Story. The soundtrack for Oneshot is also worth mentioning here, to it sounding amazing, helps fit the mood of the whole overworld you travel through. While it may not be that memorable or catchy compared to some other RPGs, it does help you get immersed within the game's atmosphere. There is one last fourth wall break I did like to show. If you don't want to be spoiled, skip to the time marker displayed on screen. Whenever you activate a purple screen in the runes, the game changes your desktop background. What it is supposed to be, a light bulb? It's actually a tip for a puzzle you come across later on. During my night I could not sleep because I had so many questions about this game. Why is Nico the savior? What happens to Nico if I choose to save the world? Can I even save it? I couldn't stop thinking. It was seriously scary even to think of it. I never could have stopped thinking during that night because I had the actual fear if the same could happen to me too. It sank so deep into my brain. Oneshot managed to do something to me that no game has ever done before. I didn't want it to let this world suffer even more, but Nico misses his mom and her pancakes, and sadly you can only do one of either saving the world or returning home. This game is playing Russian roulette with you. It's you versus the entity that seems to be creating these pop-ups outside the game. He is telling you to leave this world and let it suffer, as shown in the clips displayed here. What you do is your choice. It doesn't matter what you choose. It has its ups and downs. How this game uses the outside of its core is absolutely amazing and stunning to watch. Also sometimes shocking too. Oneshot has become my favorite RPG Maker game ever released. That is free out there, and I highly recommend you to try it out. But remember, you only have one shot.